Welcome to today's English session. I am DS Chakravarti, Assistant Professor of English, Government Degree College for Women, Karimnagar. In this lesson, we are going to focus into the topic one-word substitutes. Hope we already have been acquainted with the topic vocabulary building. In the topic, we have discussed that there are several categories of vocabulary building, and those are synonyms, antonyms, one word substitutes, and root words, and all those things. So we have already focused on root words in the earlier videos. In this video we are going to discuss about one word substitutes. What are one word substitutes? One word substitutes are the words which you can use to express your opinions or ideas. While expressing your ideas, instead of using so many words to indicate your opinion, if you can replace the several words with only one single word, then it can be called as one word substitute. In your undergraduation or post graduation, if you can learn a great number of one word substitutes, you can improve your vocabulary, and instead of using several words to express your ideas, you can replace them with one simple word. So let's see some one word substitutes. The first one we are going to see is audience. I think we have discussed about audience in the earlier video while discussing about the topic root words. Audience, we can see the root word AUD. AUD indicates the meaning sound. So audience means the people who came to a place to listen to something. Let's see the meaning. A number of people listening to a lecture are called audience. We also have the word spectators. Spectators means the people who came to see a performance is called spectators. Nowadays, audience has become a very popular word which is being used instead of spectators everywhere. So now we can say audience means the people who came to see a performance also. Now you can see the visual of audience. This typical image we can see, this type of visuals we can find in theaters and college auditoriums also. So let's see the next word, altruist, and the meaning is one who considers the happiness and well-being of others first. The person who is not selfish and who gives importance to others people's benefits or advantages, we can call him an altruist. Typically, these people always try to help others. They prioritize other people's well-being first. So this is called altruism, and the persons who follow altruism are called altruists. Now let's see the next one. Atheist, a person who does not believe in God. So if you don't believe in God, you are called an atheist, and if you believe in God, you are called theist. And if you remove the first letter A, then it becomes theist. That means the person who believes in God, and obviously both words are antonyms. That means atheist and theist are opposite words. A person believes in God and the other person who doesn't believe in God. So let's move on to the next one. Anthropologist, one who studies the evolution of mankind. So here is a branch of science that is called anthropology, and one who studies anthropology is called an anthropologist. And what exactly is anthropology? Anthropology studies the evolution of mankind, and it has several categories in the anthropology. Those are social anthropology, physical anthropology. Social anthropology focuses on the institutions that were made by man, like marriage, society, family, and other things. And physical anthropology studies about the evolution of mankind in physical nature. That means the structure of the skull, the height, the eyelids, eyebrows, and all other physical attributes. So a person who studies anthropology is called an anthropologist. Now let's move on to the next one. Autobiography. I think we have discussed about it in the earlier videos. Let's recap once again. Biography is nothing but the life story of a person written by the other person is called biography, life history. And if the life history of a person is written by himself, then it is called autobiography. So that's the basic difference between biography and autobiography. And the best example for autobiography is Mahatma Gandhi's My Experiments with Truth. And if some other person writes a person's life history, then it is called biography. And there are a great number of biographies available online, and they can be downloaded on Google also. Amputate, it's a medical term, and the meaning is to cut off a part of a person's body which is infected. If a person is injured in an accident, usually he is immediately taken to a hospital. But when it takes a lot of time to take him to a hospital, usually there is a huge blood loss depending on the injuries he had. Due to the blood loss, the oxygen supply will diminish and the cells will die. When the cells die, the infection spreads, and obviously, when the cells die, the doctors had no option but stop the infection from spreading. They amputate the body part. They amputate the body part. That means they cut off the body part where the infection is spreading. This is called amputation. Unfortunately, it appears to be very horrible, but to save a person's life, the doctors have no way but to perform the amputation. The next word or the next one word substitute is arsenal. Arsenal is nothing but a place for ammunition and weapons. We can typically call it a godown or a storage house where the weapons and ammunition are stored. And this is the best example for weapons. It's a pistol. The next word is archives, a place where government or public records are kept. All the government's records and public records are safely stored at a place, and that place is called archives. I will show you a wonderful image of an archives building. Directorate of State Archives, Higher Education Department, Government of West Bengal. So this is the West Bengal government's Directorate of State Archives. Here all the government records are stored, maybe in physical format or in digital format. They are stored in this building. The next one word substitution. The next one, amateur, a man who does a thing for pleasure and not as a profession is called an amateur. We can assume it is their hobby. And occasionally in the usage, amateur can also be called as a newbie. Newbie means a beginner. If a person enters into a sector or he wants to learn something new, then he is called an amateur or a newbie. Aristocracy. Aristocracy is the government by the nobles. In the olden days, we had several governments by the aristocracy in the world, not in India. I am not mentioning about India. Unfortunately, in these days, in the modern times, we don't have any aristocratic government. But in the world, there are so many countries they had aristocratic governments. So, what is aristocratic government? Government by the nobles. That means a royal blood or something, elite people by them. The next one is aquatic. We have already learnt about the root word aqua. Aqua means water. We already learnt about aquarium also. Aquafina, water, aquarium. So what is the meaning of aquatic? Animals or plants which live in water are called aquatic. That means the flora and fauna, the animals, the plants which live in water are called aquatic. Aquatic animals, aquatic plants. So fishes and all other things come under aquatic animals. Grass, planktons, and whichever we find in the water, those kind of plants can be called as aquatic plants. The thing is, we have to remember that aqua refers to water, so we can assume the meaning whenever we find in new paragraphs or new words. The next one is amphibian. Amphi means two. Ambi means two. Bi means two. Di means two. So all these words indicate the number two. That means bi, bi, di, di, amphi, ambi, all these things indicate the same thing, that is number 2. So what is amphibian? Animals which live both on land and sea, land and water. Actually, the word is water. So if an animal can live on land as well as in the water, then it is called amphibian. The best examples would be alligators, that means crocodiles, and snakes, turtles, that is tortoises, all these things that we can see them on land as well as we see them in water also. So these are called amphibians. The frog is also the best example for amphibians. The next one, ambidexter. Just now we learned that ambi indicates two. So we can assume something we have to do with the word two, do with the number two. So what is the meaning of ambidexter? One who can use either hand with ease. If you can do something, do an activity with both hands with the same perfection, then you can be called ambidexter or ambidextrous. In Sanskrit or in our culture, we have a word Sabyasachi that is often referred to Arjuna in Mahabharata. That means he can perform his archery skills with both hands equally. That's why we call him Sabyasachi, the ambidextrous person. And there are so many people who can write with the both hands equally with the same perfection with both hands, then we can also call them ambidextrous. Alimony, allowance paid to wife on legal separation. It indicates that whenever a couple is separated on legal grounds, that means they take a divorce or something, then the court orders the husband to pay some amount to the wife after separation. That amount or the money is called alimony. Next one, anthology. Anthology is nothing but a collection of poems, a word which we can find in literature. So if you are a poet and you publish several poems, and the collection of poems are called anthology. So let's see one image to understand what is anthology. So here is a book titled Favorite Poems, a popular anthology, edited by Dan Lyons. So here is a book which consists of several poems. That's why it is called an anthology. Abdication, voluntarily giving up something in favor of someone. So if you renounce something in favor of someone, if you are biased or if you want to help others, you try to show your affection by renouncing something, by sacrificing something, that can be called as abdication. Usually this word abdication is used for renouncing the crown. That means if you renounce the kingship, that means if you don't want to be a king and if you want the other person to be a king, then it is called abdication. Arbitrator, a person appointed by two parties to solve a dispute. Another word for arbitrator is mediator, a person who is appointed to settle a problem, settle a dispute peacefully, which is acceptable to both parties. So he is called an arbitrator. The next one, astronomer, a person who studies stars, planets, and other heavenly bodies using scientific equipment like telescope and all other things. If a person studies the movement of stars and planets and other heavenly bodies that are asteroids or any other thing, then the person is called an astronomer. Astronomy is considered as a science, so it's a part of physics. And the next word is astrologer. We often get confused between astronomy and astrology. So what is astrology? A person who studies the influence of heavenly bodies on human beings. So it is called Jyotishyam in our language, in our mother tongue. And astrology is not considered to be a science. If you want to start something new, you go to a Jyotishya or some person, a holy person, and to ask for which is the best time to start that thing, and he will give you particular date and particular time, and he tells you that it is the auspicious time, and you trust him and you start doing the thing on the particular day and particular time. So this is called astrology, and this is the difference between astronomy and astrology. And the next one is horticulture. Horticulture, the art of cultivating and managing gardens, is called horticulture. And we have similar words and that are agriculture, sericulture, pisciculture, apiculture. All these things discuss about the art of cultivating something. So here we are discussing about horticulture is the art of cultivating gardens. Let's see one image to understand the word better. So here is a garden and we can see a course in a college, and the course name is Horticulture Courses Admission Process. So horticulture is a scientific course, science course that we can learn and master in a college. Axiom, a statement which is accepted as true without proof. If a statement is accepted as true without any evidence, then we can call it axiom. Actually, it is a vague statement which is difficult to understand, but let's see one example to make it understand better. So what is the example? If A and B are two numbers, let's take an example for simple mathematics. If A and B are two numbers that are the same, imagine A and B are the same numbers, and C and D are also the same. A plus C is the same as B plus D. So if you have a little knowledge about mathematics, you will understand, you will agree with the concept that this is the truth. So this is one example for axiom. And the next one is agenda. Agenda is a very popular term. Usually it is used in meetings. So what is agenda? Agenda is a list of headings of the business to be transacted at a meeting. So whenever you are called for a meeting, an agenda is distributed or circulated among the staff and students when you are invited. So in that agenda, the topics that are going to be discussed are mentioned so that you come prepared. So here is a visual of the agenda. So we can see a meeting agenda. Whenever there is a meeting, we have to circulate this kind of agenda to the persons who are going to attend the meeting. So in this agenda, we can see what are the topics that are going to be discussed. So the next one, anarchist, anarchy. Okay, let's see what is the meaning of anarchist. One who is out to destroy all governance, law and order. Anarchist is a person who doesn't believe in any government and is generally anti-government in nature and who wants to destroy all the government institutions and the rules and regulations that were established by the government. That is law and order. So that is called anarchy, and one who follows the anarchy principles is called an anarchist. The next one is almanac. Almanac is an annual calendar. Usually it's a calendar of events and things we have to do in that particular year. Let's see one image of an almanac that is issued by Shatavahana University to understand what is almanac actually. So in this image we can see this is issued by the Shatavahana University registrar, and we can find the word almanac here. So what is this almanac? This particular image indicates the academic almanac, that is the academic activities that we are going to perform in the particular academic year, and the events are mentioned here and the dates are mentioned here. So these are the guidelines for any academic institution. The next one is hive, a place for bees. The popular word is beehive, where the bees are seen, that is called a beehive. Let's see one image to understand it better. So you might have seen this so many times. This is a beehive. We can see so many bees here, honeybees. And the next word is bibliophile. Actually, we have already seen this word earlier in the other video. Let's recap it once. Bibliophile is a lover and collector of books. So many of us are the lover of books who are interested in reading. Unfortunately, in these days, because of the digital age, the reading habit is gradually diminishing and it is replaced by the mobile browsing. Anyhow, still, I hope so many of us are interested in reading books. If you are one of them, then you are called a bibliophile. That means a person who loves and collects books. The next one, bouquet. We can see the last T, the letter T is silent in this word, bouquet, like in the word depot. Have you seen the word bus depot? DEPOT, the T is silent. In the same manner, here also we can find the T is silent. That means we need to pronounce this word as bouquet, not bouquet. And the meaning is a collection of flowers, flower bouquet. Usually, when some person is hospitalized and you have to go to see him, you take a bouquet with you or some fruits with you to indicate your affection for him. So, this is called a bouquet, flower bouquet. The next word is bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is a very popular word. You might have heard about the word democracy and you might have learned the definition of democracy in your high school that is given by the popular American president Abraham Lincoln. Government by the people, for the people, of the people. So that is the definition of democracy. Here the word we are going to learn is bureaucracy. And what is bureaucracy? Government by the officials. That means the officers that are recruited by the government. So in this type of government, the government is absolutely run by the officers. We are following the democratic nature of government, and the bureaucracy still exists, but it doesn't have the absolute powers. The legislature entrusts the bureaucrats with the executive tasks, and they will be completed by those tasks will be completed by the bureaucrats. And remember, in our India, we don't have absolute powers for bureaucrats, they have limited powers. And the next one is belligerent, a person or a nation that is involved in a war. So, if you enter into a war with the neighbor country or any other country, you can be called as belligerent. It indicates a person or a nation. If you have a personal feud, personal fight with the other fellow, then you can be called belligerent. Biennial. Again, we can see the word, the root word bi, by. Just now we learned that di, bi, amphi, ambi, these words indicate the number 2. So what does biennial means? An event which happens once in 2 years. If an event happens once in 2 years, then we can call it a biennial event. And an event which happens once in a year, then it is called annual. The annual word is very popular. Anniversary, annual. If it happens every day, we call it daily, weekly, fortnightly. If it happens 15 days once, then we can call it fortnightly, and monthly, and yearly or annually, and biennial, that is which happens once in 2 years. So this is the story of biennial. The next one is blasphemy, the act of speaking disrespectfully about sacred things. Usually blasphemy is called criticizing God or saying some abusive or disrespectful words about God. And in the olden days, the blasphemous laws were very rigid, very rigorous. Creche Creche is a place, a nursery where children are cared for while their parents are at work. Usually in the metro cities we find these word creche repeatedly because both the parents are working and they usually leave their home before 10, and while going to the office they leave their child at the creche, that is a nursery or a daycare center, what we call in the layman's language, and the babies are looked after by the creche center managers till the arrival of the parents. So this is an employment opportunity for the creche operators or creche managers, and it is also useful for the working parents. So here is a glimpse of a crush. All the kids are playing and they are looked after by the staff of the crush. The next word is cosmopolitan, a person who regards whole world as his country. So if a person can speak many languages or if a person is been to many countries, then he can be called a cosmopolitan. All the metropolitan cities are also called cosmopolitan cities because there are different cultures, different languages, people from different cities live there. So we can call them cosmopolitan cities. The best example would be New York is a cosmopolitan city because we can find people from different countries, different languages, different cultures, all those things. So it is called a cosmopolitan city. We can see the whole world as a miniature world in that particular city. Chauffeur is nothing but a driver, one who is employed to drive a motor car. So simply we can call him a driver. In an old-fashioned way, we call him a chauffeur. Curator, a person in charge of a museum. Usually museums and playing stadiums have a curator. So what is a curator here? The in charge of a museum. He looks after the security, the maintenance and the management of a museum. Maybe it can be a science museum or an archaeological museum or any other museum. It is managed by a person and he is called the curator. The next one, carnivorous, one who lives on flesh. That means a meat eater. Something that eats meat is called carnivorous. Basically, depending on the food habits, we have three kinds of division. The first one is carnivores, second one omnivores, and the third one is herbivores. So herbivores is purely vegetarian. The animals that take only the vegetarian food are called herbivores, and the carnivores, that the animals that only take meat, and those are called carnivores. The best example would be snakes, hawks, tigers, polar bears. The best example for herbivores are goats, sheep, cows, and we can find so many other examples also. And in between we can see omnivores, that the animals that can have the vegetarian food and also the meat are called omnivores. We can say human beings or any other things like cat, dog are called omnivores. They can have vegetarian and at the same time they can have meat also. Cannibal, one who feeds on human flesh. By the popular usage, cannibal means eating human beings. That means eating human flesh. But actually, the definition of cannibal is it refers to something consuming another individual of the same species as food. An animal belonging to a particular species, if he consumes another animal from the same species, then we can call it a cannibalism. But by the popular usage, it has become the meaning has evolved that if a person eats other human beings' flesh, then it is called cannibalism, or the person is called cannibal. So we need to understand the definition and the popular usage as well.